Greetings, 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 and happy Anahata. Happy fourth chakra, okay, which is the bridge between our more physical, world materially oriented chakras and our spiritual chakras. Welcome to the love of the heart chakra. Da, 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 da. This is a beautiful chakra. I love it. This, considering it's the bridge and it's right in the middle, you got to see this chakra as that which can make this world sweet and can make your relationship with the spiritual world sweet. This is the bridge between your material abundance and your spiritual abundance. The love that you are able to manifest and feel in your heart that is not like the physical, sexual, passionate love of the sacral chakra, although that's good too. This is more like love as a state of being. This is the love that allows you to be self-loving, to be compassionate, to be empathetic or empathic, to be connected to others, and ultimately to see yourself in all of being, to see yourself in others, and to see yourself in creation. When you can move away from more concrete definitions of love and begin to experience the higher spiritual love that allows you to feel happy to be alive, that allows you to feel connected to every living thing in this universe, that allows you to love all people regardless of race, orientation, creed, and so forth, you have elevated. But at a very concrete level, the heart chakra allows you to give and receive love in a healthy way. It allows the relationship that you have with self, with others, and with a higher power to thrive. You find wholeness and you bring wholeness to those relationships. It is the chakra that really gives you a sense of connectedness. When your heart chakra is open, you are able to love other people. You are able to exercise compassion free of judgment. You're able to walk in other people's shoes. You are able to have healthy and loving relationships with other people, but you also love yourself enough to remove yourself from relationships that are not loving towards you, that do not honor you, and that betray the love that you actually even have for yourself. So it's a beautiful chakra. Sanskrit word anahata, as you heard me say, the color green shares a harmonic resonance with this particular chakra, and it spans the entire breast area, okay? Oftentimes when we suffer tragic events that cause us to feel closed off, that ultimately can result in breast cancer and other maladies that, grief, hurt, pain, other maladies, asthma, upper respiratory issues that reflect some imbalance in the heart chakra area, we can close ourselves off and become fearful of connecting with other people, or fearful of expressing and showing love because it makes us feel vulnerable. People who potentially have grown up in homes where they have been emotionally or physically abused, where they were not able to form trusting and securing relationships with the adult, the parent, in particular the mother, didn't thrive in their home environments, maybe perhaps were abandoned, feel a constant state of rejection. Maybe they grew up in several different foster homes. At whatever point in their life they suffered some disconnect from a healthy, loving, reassuring, and stabilizing love energy in their life, their heart chakra can become imbalanced. As well, if you lose a loved one, remember these chakras are constantly interacting with the energy of what we experience. They're constantly receiving and transmitting energies and realities, processing things that we are dealing with. And so on any given day, if you lost a loved one, your heart chakra could fall out of balance if your heart chakra was actually in a state of balance. So there are a lot of things that can happen in your everyday life that can cause your heart chakra to fall out of balance. One thing in particular I like to bring to my clients' attention in workshops and so forth is the idea that it's not just what may happen to us. Sometimes it can be what we do to ourselves, a lack of self-love, self-honoring, self-betrayal, failing to care for yourself, failing to go to bat for yourself, failing to show self-dignity. These are the kinds of things that hurt the energy of the heart chakra, failing to forgive ourselves. It's easy to forgive other people. Sometimes it can be hard to forgive ourselves for things that we need to forgive ourselves for. And so we hold this energy, and when we hold that energy, we repeat the same self-criticisms, the same beating up on ourselves, the same self-torture and agony time after time after time after time, and it causes our heart to grieve. Anything that causes your heart to grieve is going to affect your heart chakra. Certain acts of immorality that we commit against ourselves can cause our hearts to grieve. All right, let's say if you were to take an empathic moment and go with me to the woman who is a prostitute and entered into that line of work begrudgingly. It wasn't necessarily by choice, but it is something now that she operates out of as if it's her second skin. She's gotten used to doing it. I got something going on with my eyes up here. I don't know what's going on, but they feel crazy. That causes her heart to grieve, being violated time and time and time again until she becomes so separated from her heart, until her heart becomes veiled, okay? And she loses the connection with her heart. And she suffers like a spiritual death over and over and over again, and her heart becomes cut off from the rest of her being, or she becomes cut off from the light of her heart. These are the kinds of things that cause the heart to grieve. When you are constantly, let's say you're in an abusive relationship, or you're in a relationship that doesn't honor you and you're being betrayed time and time again. It could be infidelity. It could be emotional and physical abuse. It could be an abandonment. It could be a rejection. It could be constant criticism. It could be lack of acceptance. Whatever it is, it causes the heart chakra to grieve. And when the heart chakra grieves, it falls out of balance. And if you don't correct those things, if you don't remedy those things, if you don't heal those things, that energy becomes lodged within. Let's talk about what can happen when you have a blocked heart chakra. Because it's important to realize, as with all of these chakras, that the way that a person interacts in their day-to-day life can let you know the health of whatever chakra you happen to be looking at. All you have to do is look at certain characteristics. With a person that has a blocked heart chakra, they have difficulty connecting with other people. First and foremost, obviously, they do not love themselves, but they have challenges with loving themselves and self-acceptance, but they also have difficulty connecting with others. That could be indicated by social anxiety, various phobias. It could be setting themselves off and being more of a hermit or a recluse, having really difficulty connecting on an emotional level with other people, being very difficult to be vulnerable in a relationship, being emotionally unavailable, not being able to express love either verbally, either mentally or emotionally, being cut off and blocked off. It can also represent itself as someone who lacks compassion for other people, or are unable to feel empathy or walk in another person's shoes. Someone who is extremely judgmental and passes judgment like this, doesn't have a lot of room. Oftentimes people who can be black and white are often far removed from the energy of the heart chakra. The heart chakra allows you to relax. It allows you to not only accept yourself, but to accept the shortcomings in others. It allows you to see yourself in other people. So when you see yourself in other people, it's a lot more difficult for you to be judgmental. Oftentimes in our culture, because of models for manhood, oftentimes men develop a distorted masculine energy or a toxic masculinity because they're taught to separate their emotions and not show love and to be macho and tough. And so instead of allowing that soft or heart chakra energy to heal them and heal the people that they are with, oftentimes they are conditioned to hold back their feelings, to not express what's really in their heart, to not empathize, to be very strong and very, so-called masculine and in their ego and, being in your feelings, so to speak, is unhealthy. Or being in your emotions, which to a degree can be unhealthy when you take it to extremes, but it is important to be in touch with your emotions. It is important to be able to convey what you are feeling emotionally. So these are some things that we all have to consider when we talk about the heart chakra. Remember, it's love for self, it's the connection that you feel with others, love for others, and it's also love or connection to a higher power. This is the energy that when it is flowing in your life and when you are really at a higher level of opening of that heart chakra, everywhere you go, everywhere you are, you arrive at the feeling of God or the divine. You see beauty in all experiences, in all things. You see beauty in creation. You wake up feeling joyful. You feel grateful for the gift of life. You feel appreciative of everything that's unfolding in your life. You feel connected to something far greater than you. And it allows you to feel an inner sense of joy, an inner sense of blissfulness, a constant state of gratitude and a connection with all of those things that are far greater than just the material reality that you may see around you. But let's go over, and I'm going to take a look at some of my notes here from one of my classes, Expansion of Love, to make sure I hit some of the key areas, because I am going to add sorry about that. I am going to add a survey, a questionnaire that I'd like you to take to determine what ways your heart chakra can be out of balance. Because, oh yeah, we also talked about it being blocked. So let's talk about when the energy is overflowing, when it's excessive. Because remember, all the chakras can be deficient or excessive. It's excessive when your love, the energy of that heart space displays as clinginess, neediness. You need others to define you. You are unable to exist and define yourself as a separate unit. In a relationship, you have codependent issues, which also originate with that sacral chakra energy. It's also magnified and exemplified through the heart chakra. You have a sense of, what do we call it? A martyr complex, where you hide behind the sacrificial things that you do for other people to appear as a martyr, but what you're doing is you're clinging to others for dear life, and it's the way that you get and you define love. So those are some of the ways that it can manifest. It can be smothering. That mother who smothers her children, who doesn't allow them to define their own sense of independence and have some space. That mother or that wife who runs around in the community doing everything else for everybody else while her own life might be falling apart. Those are different ways that the heart chakra energy can display itself in our lives. So people who cultivate bitterness, who are very bitter and judgmental, as I mentioned, people who have a difficulty navigating relationships, not just love relationships, but relationships with their children, relationships with the other people in their families, relationships with their spouses, relationships with friends and so forth, have a lot of difficulty navigating those things. It seems as if they have a closed off heart. You've heard the term a black heart. You've also heard the term a cold heart. This is where some of these terms come from. People who feel a great deal of depression a lot, their heart chakras are closed. They feel alone. They feel a sense of isolation. They feel disconnected, not only from life force energy, but disconnected from the environment around them and those people in those environments. And this is probably something you already know. The next one, narcissistic people, or people with a lot of narcissistic tendencies, who are very emotionally unavailable, who live vicariously through how other people see them. They don't have a sense of self. They have a lot of difficulty in this area. They have attachment issues. All right. So people, if you know someone in your life who you could classify as according to the textbook definition of a narcissist, or someone that has narcissistic tendencies, know that they have heart chakra issues. And these are things that are going to come up throughout that relationship in all ways, whether they appear to feel cold or unable to be sympathetic or empathetic. People who are very miserly and selfish. Remember, it is the energy of the heart chakra that allows us to give, that allows us to feel what other people feel, that allows us to be volunteering souls, that allows us to commit acts of kindness and be very concerned about how other people are faring. People who are miserly and selfish, they have a lot of difficulty with this. They see things primarily from one point of view or one vantage point, and that is their own. People who hold on to anger in terms of playing the victim and are unable to forgive themselves and forgive other people. People who hold on to unforgiveness of others, whether it be things that happened well back in their childhood that were traumatic, or things that happened in a relationship with a prior lover or spouse. These things affect the energy of your heart chakra, so you have to heal these things. So possessiveness, jealousy, as I mentioned, neediness, clinging to other people. Also, when I say neediness, energy vampires, people who cling to other people and usurp their energy. When you leave those people, you are drained. People who do this have heart chakra issues. They may have attachment issues. They may have issues of abandonment and rejection. So their heart chakra energy is overwhelmingly excessive, to the point to where being around them is not just a test of patience, but it's an energy zapping experience. We talked about codependency, all right? So these are just some of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention. Now, there are lots of things that you can do to help ease these, in these energy imbalances. Working on forgiveness issues, learning how to forgive, learning how to let go, understanding that forgiveness is something that you do for yourself so that you can move on, so that you can stop pouring energy into something that's zapping your life force. Also working on self-care and self-love, understanding that you were born complete and nothing can be added to you or taken away from you. We don't seek a sense of completion or a sense of self-worth and self-esteem from outside of ourselves. That's a gift that we connect with, that is already within us, that is something that we are already deserving of. There's no need to seek that outside of ourselves. It's a gift that we give ourselves. We simply decide, I am great the way I am. God created me perfectly, and we accept ourselves. And then we begin to search out opportunities in our environment to affirm that and to show ourselves examples of that. We don't wait for other people to make us feel whole. That's object referral. When you refer to things outside of yourself and you externalize your power, that's not the way to be in the world. You get to say, I am worthy. You get to say, I am perfect just the way I am. And then you get to look at the things in your life that you want to work on and improve on. But nobody gets to validate you or invalidate you. You validate you. And that's a choice you make in a life-defining moment, and you don't look back. You don't wake up one day feeling good about yourself and the next day feeling shitty, or loving yourself one day and not loving yourself the next day. You get to affirm truth, and you go through your garden and you root out the weeds and the pests that are there to destroy your sense of self-worth, your sense of self-love, and you give that back to yourself because it belongs to you, and you're the only one that can give it to yourself. As well, you're the only one who can take it away. Another human being does not have the right to take that from you, nor can another human being take that from you unless you give it to them. I promise you, another human being cannot make you hate yourself unless you have chosen to do that in and of your own will. So there are lots of ways. We talk about some of the gemstones, malachite, aventurine, rose, the essential oils, things like Rose oil is excellent for this particular chakra. Oh my gosh, there are a lot of other ones as well that are really good for this particular chakra. I can't think of them offhand. Let me look at my notes, see if I have anything here in my notes. I don't believe I have anything here in my notes. Just the different gemstones. Let me see. What other oils are really good for this particular chakra? I want to say myrrh. Myrrh is a great oil for this particular chakra. I just can't think right now. I really can't think right now, because there are also a slew of herbs as well that are good for this particular chakra. You're going to have to Google this. I'm hitting a mind block right now. Movements, any movement that allows you to expand your chest. You know, sometimes when we work out our arms in the gym, also doing pull-ups, okay, also doing push-ups, doing stretches, okay, that expand the energy of this particular chakra. One of the best ways to bring energy to this chakra is deep breathing. The majority of the days we go through, we very seldom are actually breathing beyond shallow breathing, which is about here, sometimes even here. When I talk about deep breathing, I'm talking about pulling the energy up from your tantien, from your lower sacral chakra, and this is how you get the energy moving with this particular chakra, is through deep breathing, expanded breathing. And I really feel like one of the reasons why this cures imbalance in that heart chakra is because when you are breathing like this, number one, you're present in the moment. Number two, it allows the body to relax, so it starts to expand, contract, expand, and contract, but it starts to loosen up. And because you're present in the moment, you're in the God space, right? And because you're focusing on breath and you're allowing more life force energy in, you're allowing that highest spiritual energy to course through you. All right, so suddenly you become connected with your higher self. You become connected with your higher being. You become connected with the source of life as you breathe in the source of life. So doing 8-count breathing, where you breathe to the count of 8, you raise that energy, you raise that energy, you raise that energy, and then you slowly release fully. You allow yourself to relax, you allow yourself to experience that energy. And if you're doing throat chakra work, let that out. You will notice when you mindfully take deep breaths like that, you can't help but be in the moment. You can't help but be grateful. You can't help but be connected. You relax your body, and immediately you move to another level of abundance, another level of inner prosperity and inner well-being whenever you're feeling that way, breathe compassion in, breathe empathy in. All right. When you find yourself judging other people, take a moment to walk in their shoes. What if that were me? What if this happened to that person and that's the reason why they're acting that way? Try to understand that everybody is operating out of their level of awareness, regardless of what they're doing. Why? Because when we know better, we do better. People do what they know all day long. That's what they spend their time doing, is what they know. That's why people are caught in these cyclical patterns all the time, because they seldom get out of the past and step into a fresh landscape and create something new. So people can only do what they know. They're limited by their own self-imposed limitations. So because of that, it helps us to understand that we can't spend a whole lot of time faulting people for where they are. We leave them where they are. Okay, and we move on if it's that type of situation, or in order to work with that person, in order to be with that person, in order to continue loving that person and not taking things personally, we recognize that they're a work in progress, just like we are. So hopefully you learned something in today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, or comment on this video. Go out, put something on green, go and do some forest bathing or some lush bathing. Go to where there's nothing but greenery around you with all of that green frequency, whether it's at the park or in the woods or on a hiking trail. You can't help but raise your frequency. I'm Tanisha Ali, helping you to gain clarity, helping you to up-level your mindset, helping you to clear and heal energetic and emotional blockages, and helping you to manifest the glory of God that is you. I hope that you have a beautiful, productive, peaceful, and prosperous green day. Go out there and get that heart chakra energy on. Go love on someone or go love on yourself.